Hello. Welcome to the Skeins of Dreams Knitting Podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of things to share today. I've been knitting a lot and I have one finished object, a lot of works in progress, and a lot of fall inspiration. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if you haven't seen me, or you don't have Instagram, or you've not seen me on Instagram before, I think you're realizing that I chopped my hair off. I did this like, I want to say 2 weeks ago. We were in Europe for vacation. And before we left for vacation, I decided that I would get like a drastic haircut. I've had long hair for a really long time, but every now and then, every few years or something, I just decide to chop the hair off, and that's what I did. And pretty happy with this short hair, very convenient and easy to maintain, I would say. So yeah, I just wanted to address that before we get started. And I feel like I need to fix the camera a little bit. Okay, I think this is okay. So yes, I have a lot of things to talk about today. And today is Sunday, September 8th. I'm hoping to record and upload this video today itself. A little out of schedule. I mean, I was trying to release videos every Thursday or Friday or something, but it's not gonna work out with my travel schedule. I'm going away for work travel again this week, this coming week, and the week after. So today was like the only day I had to record. Anyway, let's get right into it. I will talk a little bit about my vacation towards the end, because I did end up visiting yarn stores and I did end up buying stuff at the yarn stores. So I will share with you my acquisitions, but I will keep that towards the end. So first things first, I finished my test knit, which I was talking about. I don't remember how much I had done on it, but this is the Right as Rain tee, and I have finished it. This was a test knit for Jamie Hoffman, who is Knitosophy, and a fingering weight raglan tee with lace detail v-neck and then down the front. This is a really nice design, very well written, very I mean, you would think raglans are like simple and standard construction, but just the little details that Jamie has added into the pattern, it was very nice, or very easy to follow, and I'm very happy with the result actually. I do love how the raglan line looks. Full disclosure, I have not blocked this, so it's a little wrinkly from having finished this on my vacation actually. So I finished this while we were in Amsterdam, and I ended up taking finished object photographs in Amsterdam, so that was kind of nice. I will put a picture of me wearing the tee on screen. I want to, of course, block it, but we just came back Thursday, and today's Sunday, and I'm just still reeling from the end of the vacation and jet lag and all of that good stuff. And then I have work travel, so I'm leaving tomorrow for Canada, and yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a hectic 2 weeks. So anyway, I'm very happy with the tee. It's beautiful design, and I am completely in love with this yarn. Unfortunately, I think they have discontinued the yarn. This is Pearl Soho Buttercup Cotton, and the colorway I've used is Blue Jay, and this was like my first blue. I think it's my first blue knitted garment, and I'm happy with it. I don't know why I was like, I don't know why I never knit with blue, but I didn't even buy this yarn for myself. This was supposed to be for a friend, but then whatever project that we were planning never happened. I ended up making it for her in a different yarn, and so this blue was just like sitting in my stash. And I think the gauge on this fingering tee is like 25 stitches or something, and I needed a really fine yarn. And for whatever reason, because it's a tee with short sleeves, I just didn't feel like doing it in wool, so I ended up picking like a fingering weight cotton to use to make this. And I must say that though it was cotton, it wasn't hard on my hands at all. Like, I'm super pleased with my stitches and everything. And I used US 2 bamboo needles, and I mean, this is unblocked, so it is as good as it can get, I think. So I'm super happy with this. And as I said, Jamie's test knit experience and the pattern itself were very lovely. Like, I had zero issues with it. There was a test knit chat, and there are a lot of testers who she has. Oh, by the way, this pattern is in like 20 sizes, which is ridiculous and amazing. And all the testers have done such a beautiful job, and her own versions are just lovely. So definitely a nice pattern to have. If you layer it with something, this lace, like, you know, it can be good as a layering piece, because if you feel like if I wear it to work, I wouldn't just wear it over a bra, because, you know, the lace has my skin kind of visible under it, so it works well as a layering piece. But if I'm like going out for the evening or outside somewhere, I can wear it just with a bra and it'll be really cute. So yeah, that's my Right as Rain tee, and I really need to block it because this back collar is the one thing that's like, it needs a block to stand up without bubbling up over here. But yeah, other than that, very happy with it. I did make it cropped, and Jamie has it cropped, but people have made all sorts of lengths, and there's a lot of options of doing bust darts, or shaping the back, like lowering the back versus the front. I did not end up doing any of those. The way my body is shaped, usually I prefer things to be cropped, and I don't really want the back to be longer than the front if it's a close fitting garment, because I have wide hips and it doesn't look good unless if it's a loose garment and it can go over my hips properly. Only then like the lower back looks better. Otherwise, if it's cropped, it's better that the garment ends before my butt begins, essentially. So anyway, like I said, super happy with it. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. I wish this yarn was not discontinued, but as I mean, staying in character, I have 2 other colors of this yarn, so I definitely have more options to knit this again for myself, knit something like with that yarn again for myself. So yep, that's the Right as Rain tee, and that is my only finished object. I have a lot of works in progress actually. I was knitting on the body, and I took this as my active work in progress for the vacation, and I think the deadline was the 29th of August, and I finished it on the 29th. We actually took a train to Brussels on the 29th and from Amsterdam, so that was a 3-hour train, and 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening is all that I got knitting time. Of course, while we were in Brussels, I didn't knit, so but that was more than sufficient for me to finish the tee. So I did a lot of the knitting in Amsterdam, and that it just made it that much more special, I feel. And yep, after that I needed to cast on something, because I was panicking about what to take as my travel knitting. I had a lot of projects on the go, but most of them were metal needles. And since my trip to India in January, where I lost my needles at the airport, I kind of became a little wary of traveling with metal needles. I've never had an issue in India before this time, so this was the first time I ever even faced this issue. And the funny thing was, while I was traveling within the country, it was all good. And then it was when I was leaving, taking a flight out of India to London, is when they took my needles away, which was like ridiculous. Like, they let me travel inside the country with it, but not when I was leaving. Like, whatever. I feel like India is still catching up a little bit with all the TSA type regulations, and every airport is different, and that makes it kind of uncertain. So anyway, all of that to say, I really wanted to take, this was on wooden needles, so I was fine, and they were smaller wooden needles, but all my other works in progress were metal needles. So it just became like really weird kind of projects that I had, and they were big DK weight sweaters. I had a test knit which was going to be DK weight. I didn't have anything fingering or small, like finer on my needles. So I decided, you know what, this particular yarn in my stash is calling me a lot, and so I wanted to just knit with that yarn. Like, that was my motivation, and that was this beautiful Sunday morning Luxe Sport by Sonder Yarn Company. So I had these 3 skeins of this purple, which is the mani pedi color, and this is the full English, and I had 1 skein of this, and I had just bought it when the yarn came out, because this was right after I knit, I think it was the Alder sweater I knit last year in the Sunday morning DK or fingering, I can't remember, but I knit with the Sunday morning the DK or fingering last year, I think the DK, and then the Luxe Sport came out, which is BFL Massam and cashmere, 10% cashmere, and I really wanted to try it out. And I'm going to be honest, when the yarn arrived, I had just worked with Sunday morning DK, and I felt the Sunday morning Luxe Sport, and I was like, this is not that much different. Like, I didn't feel what the cashmere was bringing to the blend. So I put the yarn away, and I didn't think about it for a while. And I don't know what it was, whether it was from sitting in my closet or my, you know, yarn cubby, or what, whether it just because I feel like it got softer just by sitting in the shelf. I don't know, but maybe it was all in my head. I felt it again, and I was like, wow, okay, this is soft. Like, why was I thinking this isn't soft? The reason that was going to be an issue is I wanted to make a tee with this, and then I was like, okay, if it's not gonna be like close to skin soft, I probably can't wear it over a bra, and I'd need to wear it over a camisole, and in that case I would need more yarn to knit a sweater which has that much ease. Okay, all of that to say, I fell in love with the yarn again, and I really wanted some sort of a fall themed garment and something lighter, because everything else seemed to be DK or heavier. So I decided I would knit the Farnham Sweater, Farnham pullover, Farnham sweater, and there is a Farnham tee, and this is by Sophie, who is the Knit Pearl girl on Instagram. And I cast this on while I was like on the 30th of August or something, today being the 8th of September. I knit on this like the entire rest of the vacation. I got quite a bit done. I am in love with this project. Not doing color work also helped in extending the yarn a bit longer, because there's no double layer, like, you know, I'm using the yellow in line with the purple. So I love the pattern. It's a very nice pattern. The yarn is so amazing to work with. I think this is a 22 stitch gauge, and I'm using US 3 needles. and I am super happy with how this is turning out. The Farnham pullover has a rolled neck, stockinette kind of collar. I'm not gonna do that. I think I'm going to do a twisted rib hem everywhere, including a twisted rib collar. That's the only change I'm planning to make. And also, I didn't go for as much ease. So the way the pattern, and a lot of patterns are given like this, they give your bust circumference and then they give you the garment you should make for your bust circumference, because they suggest how much ease you should have. But I should have knit like the 6th size or something like that, but that was like a finished, my bust is like 45 inches. The finished garment suggested for my bust was like something like 55 or something, and I do not wear 10 inches of ease. That's just not my style. So I am knitting the 3rd size instead of the 6th size. So that was a considerably smaller size of garment to make. Now this will give me a finished 49 or 50 inch garment, which is usually where I sit. So I like the 3 to 5 inches of positive ease in my knitted garments. So other than that, I didn't make any modifications. I made sure that the armhole length was sufficient. I did some extra cast on under the arms to account for the bust, because the shoulders are narrower than the bust. So it's not going to be a very dramatic drop shoulder on me. It's going to be a smaller drop shoulder, but I'm okay with that. I kind of like it. But yeah, super happy with how this is going, and this is so nice. This is the 2nd skein of the mani-pedi color I have. This is how much I have left. I'm hoping to get as much out of the body as possible and have the 3rd skein left for the sleeves, and then I'll do the sleeves as long as I can do them. I would prefer getting 3/4 lengths, because usually my arms are the coldest part of me, so it would be nice to get at least a 3/4 length sleeve. So I feel like this is kind of a mashup between the tee and the sweater. The sweater is very oversized the way it is designed, and a lot of people, I see their sleeves are kind of bubbled, and I don't like sleeves like that. I would like the sleeves to be closer fitting. So I'm gonna pick up stitches and do rapid decreases. So the sleeve, I'm probably just gonna wing it, not follow the pattern, because I don't like that heavy bubbled sleeve. And maybe that would have looked good had I picked a size bigger, but since I've picked a size closer to me, I don't want like weirdly large sleeves. So yeah, but that's my Farnham pullover. Super happy with it. Very nice pattern, and the yarn is lovely. I'm so happy with it, and I don't know what I was thinking, why I thought the cashmere didn't bring anything to the table, because it definitely does. It's definitely a little still on the rustic side of things, so I do believe that you feel yarns are itchy if you run hot or the temperature is not cold enough to wear them, because some of the stuff that I wore indoors and I felt like this was itchy, if I wore it on a cold day outside, I didn't feel it was itchy anymore. So I feel like the you feel it more if you're running hot or if you're indoors. So this definitely has that vibe. Like I would happily wear it indoors, but it has to be properly cold. I can't wear it now. Like this is fall weather, and I don't think I can wear it indoors during the fall. I think this is more of a November through February for me garment. But I'm super pleased with it. I love the color. I think it'll be really cute with just like jeans or something. Though I've stopped wearing jeans since I've been sewing myself pants. So maybe I need like this brown color pant. I'm all about now making outfit plans with my sewing and my knitting. It's become an obsession. I sewed 3 pairs of pants or trousers, depending on where you are. I sewed 3 pairs of trousers for the trip. I made the So Liberated chanterelle pants in a green linen. Then I made the Sew House 7 free range slacks in black linen. And then I made a Winslow culottes full length in maroon viscose. I'll put a picture of all the 3 trousers I made for the trip. Super happy with my outfit ideas. I kind of wanted to do like a reel or something, or a video of me wearing all these pants in these amazing European locations, but I tried to not make the trip about content creation and didn't want to bug Biljit to take images and videos of me constantly. So, and I didn't have my tripod or anything to do it myself, so I didn't end up doing that. But I have some pictures, so I can share those pictures with you at least, so you know how the trousers look. And I think I'm gonna do a separate video on all my sewing endeavors, because I have a lot more to talk about, especially given that I'm kind of I'm a curvy person for sure, so I fall somewhere in the middle of the range, and it'll be interesting to talk about what modifications I make when I'm sewing garments. But I don't think the knitting videos and the sewing, like, I don't know how to mash them up, especially I've been sewing so much. I have a lot to talk about. Anyway, I went off on a tangent, but I think I will make some sort of brown pants to go with this sweater, and super happy with how this has turned out. So that was first work in progress that I wanted to mention. The next one is also something I cast on the trip. Apart from this blue tee and then this Farnham pullover, I did end up taking one sock project, because I thought that sometimes it's not gonna be easy to carry like a sweater with me wherever I'm going. So I did end up taking this beautiful self-striping skein, and this is by Woolens and Nosh. I love Michelle's yarn, and this is the colorway Oh Hello You, and that's my sock. That's all I've done on it. I was thinking I might just like knit like this long tube and finish all the yarn and then make afterthought heels and toes, but I'm also wondering if I would wear socks with that much leg length, because I have wide calves, and at some point I'll have to do increases to fit over my calves, and I never wear socks that long anyway. So at this point I have to decide if I want to start a heel, and I have to decide what type of a heel I should start. So that's where I kind of left it off, but very nice project always on travel. Like, and self-striping yarn is so much fun, and I always make vanilla socks anyway. I make a 60 stitch sock if I'm making stockinette. If I'm doing ribbing, I do a 64 stitches, and I use 2.25 millimeters, so US 1. And I like a thicker sock yarn. I don't like 75-25. It has never, I'm a loose knitter, and I would have to go down to a US 0, and I'm too lazy to do that. So I use US 1, and I like an 80-20 or a plump sock yarn, and this is the Superwash Targi base, I think, on Woolens and Nosh yarns, and I absolutely love this for making socks. The next work in progress that I have been working on is my Cognac Sweater. This is a design by, I guess, Atelier Caston on Instagram, and there's how much I've gotten done. Super happy with this design. I've tried it on, and the sleeve looks amazing. It's kind of a satin sleeve, and it's a contiguous construction, so you cast on for the back, pick up for the shoulders, while picking up for and then you just like kind of make a yoke, and then you do increases to accommodate the sleeve. So the sleeve is essentially created by doing increases between the shoulder and the back yoke. and you shape the neck using German short row shaping. And this is so far this construction has like blown my mind. I don't know, have I done this before? I can't remember, and I'm super pleased with how this has turned out. It fits really well. I've joined in the round for the body, and I am currently just knitting away on the body. This yarn is Ruby and Roses fingering and Suri, and I forget what color this is, Siesta. This yarn smells really nice. I think she uses something in her finishing or dyeing process of like, you know, of dyeing the yarn. But I will say that if you have like a sensory thing with smells, it does get a little overwhelming, honestly. And I've started developing a sensory thing for smells. Like candles give me a headache, incense sticks give me a headache. I don't know, and I'm not always in the mood for the overwhelming floral scent. It's a nice scent, but I'm hoping when I wash the sweater, it goes away. I mean, I do use perfumes sometimes, but not usually. But I'm just hoping that when I'm wearing it, I'm not just getting this overwhelming scent. While it's a nice thing to have, I'm surprised that it has lasted this long, because I bought this in like March or something, and the smell still is pretty strong. Like my cats will come and start sniffing the sweater if I'm knitting on it, because of course they're intrigued by the scent. But other than that, like the yarn is lovely, the Suri is lovely, and I am super ready for a fluffy sweater. This will be so nice to wear, and I love the pink. It's amazing. Yeah, so that's the Cognac Sweater. I don't have a lot to say about it. I quickly went over the construction, but I did mention this in my last episode when I had cast it on, and I don't want to like just repeat everything. So this will, I think it'll get done, but there are things that have a higher priority, so I'm trying to get all of those things finished. And then I want to give a quick update on my Daft Days cardigan that I'm knitting on. I didn't take this on my trip. 2 weeks we were just on the trip, so I've definitely knit more than what I showed you last time, but I haven't like knit all that much more, so it's just the body. So this is the Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca Clow. I'm knitting this in my hand spun, which is this beautiful skein of yarn, and then just some oatmeal, which is bare naked wools. So this is the Better Breakfast DK by Bare Naked. I bought this at Rhinebeck. This is my hand spun, and I'm knitting the Daft Days cardigan, and I'm hoping this is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater, so I have a lot of knitting to do on this. I just did not take such a big project with me as a travel project, and so I lost out on 2 weeks of knitting, but hoping to get back to it super quickly. I gave a lot of details about this in my last episode as well. I just wanted to like show this to you, saying that this is still an active WIP. I'm trying to put in rows on it to get it done. But since yesterday, I've gotten distracted by a new cast on, because I signed up for a test knit for Rebecca, and I have cast on a really cool sweater. So Rebecca is running a lot of test knits. I don't know how she does it. Like her designs are amazing, and she keeps coming out with such good designs and constantly. Like, I don't know how she does it, but I signed up for test knitting the NYX sweater, and I'll put a picture of it here. It's an all over color work DK 20 stitch gauge. And I started mine. This is how it's looking. I know it's like, it's at that odd spot where I have a yoke, so I can't really fold it. It doesn't really show anything, but this is how my sweater is looking, and I am extremely pleased with this. This is so stunning. I love the graphic color work. Like that's what drew me to the sweater. And then of course it's Rebecca's design, so it's size inclusive, and she's my friend. I like to support her. So so I decided I would test knit this, and I'm kind of sneaky. When I sign up for her test knits, I also like send her a message saying that, oh, I signed up for your test knit. And then of course she's very generous, she let me in. But I'm super pleased with this. This is due October 16th, but the way I'm going on it, I think this will get done. And I'm going away on like trips tomorrow and then again next week, work trips. But I think I'm just gonna take this sweater as my only project, and that usually works very well when I'm on work trips, because after having like a busy, crazy work day, because when you're on trips, you're at a client site or you're at a conference, you work like a lot more like mentally. And so I like having knitting in my hotel room. I don't have anything else to do, so I get like 2-3 hours of solid knitting time before I go to bed. And I don't care what project I take. I am so desperate to knit something that I will knit the most complicated things without any issues. When I'm at home, there's more options and my brain goes crazy. So I will take this as my only project and I will get it done. There is a chance I might wear this at Rhinebeck, but the thing is it's a DK weight color work, so if it's not as warm, or if it's not as cold at Rhinebeck, I might just be too warm in this. But I'm still knitting it, and of course I'm knitting it. I'm still gonna bring it, is what I meant, to Rhinebeck. So the yarn is actually, this is Hudson Valley Fibers Mudna Heathers in the color Blood Root, and then I bought this at Rhinebeck last year essentially. And then this contrast color is actually from, I don't know how to say this, Idioma Creek Alpaca Farm, and this is just a nondescript alpaca yarn. I didn't even know what yardage or whatever. I have 4 skeins of this. Looks like a DK, so I'm thinking it's like worst case somewhere between 200 and 250 yards per 100 grams. I have 4 skeins, so I have enough as a contrast color. But I decided to hold these together. Initially I was thinking it might give like a Christmas vibe, like the red and white, but I think it comes off as a brownish pink, especially with the white contrast. And I don't think this leans any particular way. Even if it was a Christmas themed sweater, I don't care about that. So I am quite pleased and so excited to finish this, and the alpaca is giving it a little drape, which I am really excited about. Otherwise I was thinking that it might just be like this dense all over colorwork sweater, but then the alpaca is adding some sort of movement to it. So I'm super pleased with it, and I just cast this on yesterday and I have not let it go. I think that was all my works in progress. Now all I have to talk about is fall knitting plans. Now that I think that was my last summer garment, the Writer's Rain tee, and I'm definitely in the mood for fall. I know a lot of people are posting fall knitting plan videos, and I find them super interesting, but I've not caught up with a lot of podcasts just because I was away for so long. But I'm sure when I'm like work traveling, I might definitely get a chance to do that. So of course I have all of these projects to finish, so I'm not saying I'm letting them go, but one of the things I really want to cast on next is a sweater for Baljeet. And Max the knitter, Maxim Sear, re-released his For Fox Sake sweater, and I really loved the pattern when it came out the first time as well. I just didn't see it so much for myself. I love the yoke, I love the foxes. I didn't see it for myself as much. And then when he re-released it, I kind of put a story and I tagged Baljeet saying, oh, please let me make this for you. He saw the story and he was like, actually, you know what? I do like that sweater. So, I mean, I was super happy that he said yes. And so I've decided to make the Fox Sake sweater for him. And it's coincidentally, Beth, Beth McDonald-Stone, who has a YouTube channel as well. I watch her videos religiously. I love Beth's design aesthetic, and also just how, you know, she talks about Bermuda and then just all her designs, and she always knits. She also knits stuff from other designers, and I've met her at Rhinebeck last year, and she's such a sweet person, so I really enjoy her podcast. She's making the fox sake sweater for her husband as well, I think, and I love her version, and I was watching her video like a week ago, so not a week ago, a few days ago. But anyway, this is the color palette I've chosen for Baljeet. I apologize if the lighting is not very good, but this is Cascade 220. Baljeet likes soft yarn, but he's hard wearing on his sweaters, so I usually go for workhorse yarns for him, which are good against the skin, and Cascade 220 is amazing, and the color range and the heathers are just very nice. Anyway, so this black is the main color. This orange is of course the fox. There's a little bit of cream, and then this shire, this green, is going to be the contrast color. So it's a very, very fall palette. He likes it. I just like made executive decisions for him, but he is on board with this, and I really want to cast this on, but I have to finish at least one thing. I just cannot have, I have insane number of WIPs right now, and there are things that I abandoned which were started like early in the year when winter was ending last season, and I want to get back to them as well. So there's just knitting, sewing, quilting chaos going on in my life, so I do want to finish one project at least before I cast on his sweater. And this is going to be a color work like woolly sweater, so it's not like he's going to wear it in October. October still ends up being pretty warmish. I think November, if I finish by November or so, I think it'll be fine. And this is definitely going to be my next cast on. And he needs a sweater. He needs a sweater every year. That's at least one is what I've planned. So that was that. And then I want to make I think is it called the Harlow V-neck by Kadri? It's like this V-neck, super fluffy and very comfortable looking sweater, like just cozy vibes is what I get from it. And oops, I actually didn't bring part of my yarn. I had this old project that I stopped knitting on a while ago. This is called the Milkshake Cardigan. It is a pattern by Joji Locatelli, and I have this massive DK weight yarn. This is called the Parchment. The colorway is called Parchment, but I'm forgetting what is the name of the brand. It's that brand that does the special colorways for Rhinebeck everybody lines up for. I can't remember, but I will put it on the screen hopefully. So this is called the Parchment colorway, and I was feeling like beige again. I wanted to knit something beige, so I got this beautiful Suri skein, 4 skeins from a Ravelry D-stash, and this colorway is called Winter Chai, and it's beautiful autumnal because it has pinks, some grays, some beige, and some oranges, and I think this will look lovely. And I want to make the Harlow sweater by Kadri, and I'm in the mood for something cozy, fluffy, Suri-ish sweater. I have 1600 yards of this, and I have enough quantity of this. I think I had 3 skeins, and this is like a 600 yard skein or something like that. I'm forgetting what it's called, but I think I have enough to make that sweater, and I'm super excited because this will mean I rip out this old project that I'm no longer interested in. I don't think I had picked the right size, and there were other issues with it. Plus it was beige and I was not feeling beige, but I think beige with this beautiful Suri might feel less beige and more me. So I'm super excited to cast this on, but I'm gonna wait until I finish the Cognac Sweater, because there's no point having 2 Suri type sweaters on my needles. Also, this was one of the first project bags I made for myself. It's a cute little drawstring bag, and I just used some Christmas ribbon as the drawstring. So it's like ripping out at places, like my straps, the fabric is coming loose, but this was my first proper project bag sewing. Pretty happy with it. I'm just gonna put the Harlow sweater in this when I cast it on. This is where the Hohi project had been sitting for years and years and years, and I'm so glad that I finally am in like the space to actually do something about it. I knew I was gonna rip it, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with the yarn, so it's good that I figured it out. Okay, so the Foxake sweater and then the Harlow sweater are definitely on my to knit list. And then while I was in Amsterdam, I was not planning on doing this, but I ended up going to Stephen and Penelope one of the days. Baljeet, we were very tired, so we twice during the trip, for one day we rented bikes and we went on like a bike ride around the city ourselves. Like we just freestyled it. It was very intense. We rode around for like 5-6 hours and we didn't prepare well enough. Like we didn't have water and it was a very hot day. And then one of our phones was dying. Like we didn't have our backup battery pack and everything, but it was amazing still. And then the day after that, we went to Brussels. So it was like 2 consecutively crazy days. So when we came back from the Brussels trip was like a day trip. So we went in the morning and came back at night. And then the next day we wanted a chill day. So Biljit like wanted to take it slow. And then we had like a boat cruise planned for 5 p.m. So we had all morning to do nothing. So I ended up walking to Stephen and Penelope because it was only a 13-minute walk from our hotel. And that worked out perfectly. But of course, me being me, I just can't go to a yarn store and not buy anything. Like that's not a thing. So I ended up giving myself some Stephen and Penelope tandem yarn. This is 100% South American merino wool. It's DK weight, 254 yards per 100 grams. And I think I got 5 skeins of this. I have a lot. I want to make something cable. It's beautifully soft. I love this color and I think it will have excellent stitch definition. So I want something cabled and I think it's called the Haley Vest because there was a Haley sweater also that came out. I don't think I have enough for a sweater that's cabled, but I think I can do a cabled vest and this will look amazing as a cabled vest. Yeah, I think that is what I'm planning to do with it. And that would be a perfect fall cast on, right? So that worked out well. I'm definitely in the mood for cables and I really want to cast on cables, something, anything. Then after Amsterdam, we were in Cologne for 3 days. And while I was in Cologne, I again found myself in front of a yarn store. I went for a walk and I ended up at a yarn store as one usually does. And this was called Laura's Wolleden, I think. And I'm gonna put some B-roll of the store. It was a really sweet store. I think they're like Lana Grossa flagship kind of a store. Beautiful, beautiful yarn selection and colors were amazing. And I ended up with some very fluffy suri again. This is natural alpaca lungo. It's just 89% alpaca and 11% polyamide, and in this beautiful purple lavender colorway. And I don't know what I want to do with this, but I have 4 skeins of this and I'm super excited to use it. I think I have 5 skeins of this. Yep, I have 5 skeins of this. That's a lot. I think I will just make like a simple raglan sweater, something fluffy. I'm super happy with all my yarn purchases from Europe. They are all souvenir yarns. I didn't have to buy them, but while I was there, why not support the local store I went to? So, yep, those were the acquisitions. I really don't have a plan for this, so I'm gonna think about what I want to knit with it. They did have a swatch of this just knit up on its own, and it was really sweet, like see-through fabric, but like fluffy and everything. I do have a cardigan in a fabric like that, but I don't wear it as much. So I think I am going to make it a sweater and not just keep it by itself, because I don't know, I think I like having some body to the sweater, because otherwise I get into this, oh, what should I wear under it? Is it too see-through to wear for work? And all of those questions arise. I think I'll just make like some sort of a sweater, and I'm pretty sure I can find some yarn that goes with this in my stash. Oh, actually, this cotton, I have a purple color as one of the colors in stash. So cotton plus suri might be interesting, and it is essentially the same lavender color. See, talking to you helps. I come up with ideas on the spot. Watch this space for what I do with this yarn. Okay, so I had to take a break to feed the cats. They were getting anxious. It is dinner time for them. So that was everything knitting related that I had to talk about. And I think I made good use of whatever lighting the lighting situation was. So I have finished whatever I had to show. So yeah, so just life chat in general. As I was mentioning while the video was going on, we had a really nice trip, very relaxing. We did a lot of activities. We biked a lot in Amsterdam. In Brussels, we met up with a very close friend of mine who lives in Belgium now. And then 3 days we were in Cologne. We didn't do too much. We did like a tour of the cathedral and just the old town in Cologne, and we were staying at a hotel right in the center of the old town, so that was very nice. I'm gonna put some footage of our trip after the video, just things that I am okay to share. It was definitely like a personal trip for Baljeeta and me, and we had been planning this for a really long time. We do like one big vacation of a year, and this is the first time we did like an international one. So otherwise we end up doing a national park in the US, and next year I think that's what we're gonna do, is stay within the US. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did not end up meeting with a lot of Yarny friends who did reach out and wanted to meet, mostly because it just wasn't fitting in the way we had things planned, and I didn't want to leave him anywhere and then just like go on a yarny thing. Though I ended up visiting 2 yarn stores, and it just happened like the day off where he was like, oh, I need to go do this, or I'm sleepy and I want to sleep in, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sleepy, so I'm just gonna go for a walk, and then ended up in yarn stores, of course. So so yeah, so the yarn stuff was more impromptu and I hadn't planned anything. So I definitely want to do like a Europe trip where I dedicate the trip to yarny stuff and do more like local shops and then meet up friends and all of that good stuff. So, but otherwise the vacation was amazing and had a really fun time. The only other crafting thing I have to mention is that I started a new quilt. I cut up fabric for it. So if you have been watching my past few episodes, I think I shared a log cabin baby quilt I was making for my friend who is due in October. But I just was not feeling that quilt. It didn't seem like her thing. Like, I know my friend, and I was looking at the quilt and I was like, something's not working out here. So I ended up getting new fabric to make this quilt, and I cut the fabric up. I'm going to make another trip around the world kind of quilt, which I made previously. I can put a picture of the previous one I made, and I'm just gonna make the same pattern again but in different fabric. So hopefully I'm putting some footage of me or like of what I'm talking about essentially. So I have quilting plans on the go. But my work trips have kind of put a wrench in all the crafting things. I have to be in Canada this coming week, and then next week I have a week-long trip elsewhere. So lots happening work-wise. Just coming back from the trip last week, and then again now thinking about work. It's going a little insane here. But I did want to come and give kind of an update on everything that's been happening in my knitting, crafting life. Sewing, I have not picked up since I got back, but all the 3 trousers I mentioned before very casually, I made them in the week leading up to our trip. So I had not made any sewing plans until like, oh, there's a week left, I don't have clothes to pack, and then I ended up sewing everything in that 1 week, which was insane, but I did it anyways, and it worked out because I actually wore my sewn stuff quite a bit. I did not wear the Winslows as much, just because they're super long and I think I need to take in the hem a bit, and I didn't want them to get dirty, and we were walking around a lot, so I didn't end up wearing those as much. But my favorite thing to do in Europe, by the way, was to wake up in the morning in Amsterdam, and there was a cafe right next to our hotel called Petit Loup, and I would go there, sit, drink coffee, have a croissant, and knit, wearing my handmade trousers. So I was having a very European vacation, I would say. And I think it was the first time. I have been to Amsterdam before like 5 years ago, but this was the first time I was there since my brain has calibrated itself to thinking about colors, outfits, fashion, trends, knitting, and you know, all of that good stuff. And I actually observed clothes people were wearing in a different sense, and suddenly it just like everything fell in place. Like I now get why petite knit is so popular. Like everyone was wearing neutrals, linen pants with like a neutral top, or like the stripes, like the thin pinstripes, very classic and plain tops, and like muted colors. And it just all like made sense to me suddenly. Not saying that that's the direction I'm heading in, not at all. I stay true to my roots. I grew up with a lot of color at home in India, and I think they're an integral part of me, so I'm never gonna let that go. But when I was doing this whole coffee croissant knitting thing, I was wearing my linen pants and like just a t-shirt from Old Navy, and I was feeling very at home. So it was good. I gave in a little bit to what everybody was doing there. Not that I had to, but not that I felt compelled to. I did wear other colorful stuff that I took with me because my clothes are colorful, but it was just something that I kind of was being there, kind of just like absorbed, and I understood it a little bit, and just the aesthetic kind of made sense suddenly. Yeah, so it was all in all a very good trip, and we had a lot of fun. I love architecture and looking at old-timey buildings and cathedrals, and there was this church we went to in Brussels that had like stained glass everywhere, and it was just insanely stunning. Like, how do they do that? I mean, I know the scientific way they do that, but it just, you know, when you're there and you're looking at these huge structures which took over like 300 years, like the Cologne Cathedral took like over 300 years to build, and I'm like, that the intricacy and the details are insane. And of course, the part of like things like this exist in all countries. We have very similar things in India, but it's so nice to go to different cities and see what their history looks like, right? And we did end up taking some some tours. We took a tour in Brussels. We did a boat cruise in Amsterdam, where our guide was very sweet and he told us a lot about like Amsterdam's history. So that was a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yep. So I think that was everything I had to say. I think once I'm back from my work trips, I'm gonna go back into planning Rhinebeck again. I do still have plans to sew outfits for Rhinebeck. So I have that fabric washed and ready to go. I have to figure out or finalize my patterns and then actually make them. I don't want to do this last minute, but for some reason sewing ends up happening last minute. I think that's how it is, because it takes less time, so you feel like, oh, there's more time to do it. But whereas knitting takes a long time, so you have to do it now so you can get it done. So yeah, I still have plans, but if the outfits don't work out, I don't stress too much about it. It's a nice to have, but not necessary. I have so many other sewn things that I could pair my knitted garments with, so not a big deal. But I will definitely do like a video where I'm talking about all my sewing as well. I think there are a lot of video plans in my head, but for some reason whenever I'm trying to actually execute them, it doesn't materialize the same way. But I will continue to make efforts. This October is going to be the 3 years since I've been podcasting. That is insane. But yeah, I think it's been 3 years. 2021? Yep, 3 years. So exciting. I don't do too many giveaways, but I'm thinking maybe I should do one. But I know all of you who like to watch my videos and who've been messaging me for 3 years. I recognize you and I thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I really appreciate it. And I hope those of you who will be at Rhinebeck, I will get to see you. So, and since I've been going to all these yarn festivals, I've been meeting a lot of you, and you all come up and say hi, and now I recognize some of you in person as well, so that's always exciting. So I'm looking forward to Rhinebeck, and I can't believe it's only like a month and a week away or something. Yeah, and I'll meet Mel and Salma again, so that's always amazing. So yeah, I think next couple videos are all going to be very Rhinebeck heavy, so stay tuned for that. All right, I think I have started rambling at this point, so that means it's time to sign off. Thank you so much for hanging out with me until the end. Stay safe, happy crafting, and see you next time. Bye.